What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? How you doing? First and foremost, man, hope y'all having a wonderful Friday. We made it to the weekend finally. I know a lot of y'all couldn't wait for the weekend, and the people that got to work the weekend, salute to y'all also. Get that bag, get that bag, get that bag. But no, I ain't got too much going on, man. I think right now I'm like in a place in my life where I'm bored. You know what I'm saying? I'm bored because I'm an empty nester now. You know what I'm saying? I'm an empty nester. My kids are grown. I got a son in college, my daughter in college. They older now, so because most of my life has been scheduled around them. You know what I'm saying? So everything I do particularly was around them. So now just me and my dog, sitting at the house. Let my old lady come through. She got some kids too, so unless they do something, then yeah. But other than that, man, I'm an empty nester, y'all. And for the people that have kids that are grown, how did y'all life get back in order? How did y'all put y'all life back in order and find yourself? Because now I'm bored, man. I just sit at home all day. I get up, walk around the mall, don't buy nothing, talk to old people at Whataburger, come back home, walk my dog, talk to my dog, get on social media. That's it. But anyway, enough of me. Before I get started, and I have a hater from TikTok over here in my comments. I appreciate you, my hater. You know how I get down. You know I don't care about all the hate and the slander and all the other stuff. I like it because that's great engagement for my channel. Okay, so you keep doing what you're doing, and I humbly appreciate you supporting me. All right. But anyway, let's get started, y'all. Before we get started, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Should foundational Black Americans support ICE? That's the question of the day. I see a lot of videos, Facebook posts, comments asking, is it wrong for foundational Black Americans to support ICE? I'm going to say this. It's on an individual basis. It's up to you if you want to support ICE. But if you're a part of this delineation movement, I think foundational Black Americans should support ICE. You don't even have to call yourself foundational Black Americans to support ICE. You can be a slave descendant. You can be the descendant of the emancipated people, indigenous, Solon, Negro, Aborigines, Gullah Geechee, one of these Indian tribes, whatever you want to call yourself. I think it's a great thing for us to delineate. And part of delineation is getting rid of some of these people in our country that's really hurting us, right? Me personally, I do support ICE. I really do. A lot of Black Americans, especially Democrat supporters, get upset with me when I speak about how I support ICE. They like to throw the police in my face. They like to bring up KKK and how the KKK was the original police. All which is true. How policing in Black communities has hurt us, especially how they overly police us. I totally agree. But at the same time, ICE never harassed me. And you can't shame me into these tactics of comparing ICE to the police department. What ICE doing to these immigrants ain't nothing compared to what the police department did to Black Americans. What ICE doing to these immigrants, they ain't doing nothing to them. It's damn near they holding their hands, taking them to the detention center. With us, keep in mind, we just had a brother by the name of Daquan that was unalived by the police not too long ago. That's how we get treated. But none of these immigrant groups not speaking out for us. They applaud that. They applaud when we get unalived by the police. And plus, I'm an American citizen. Plus, we all pay taxes. So yes, I will support ICE. Now, I've written some things down to let y'all know the reason why I support ICE. So I had to look some of this stuff up, y'all. I don't want to sound like a goof troop, but check this out. And we talk about this, and y'all have heard these things before also. So I'm not saying nothing new, okay? I'm just giving my perspective, and just to let y'all know, I do support ICE, all right? Now, one of the things, the reason why I feel like we should support ICE and how ICE is benefiting us is the protection of job opportunities and wages. High levels of immigration, particularly undocumented, can increase competition in the labor market, potentially displacing or suppressing wages for American workers, including in sectors where black Americans are overrepresented, like construction, service industries, and entry level jobs. That is so true. Y'all remember back in the day where black people was in the construction game and a lot of black people was in the lawn care game. Now listen, depending where you at, it might not affect the job. Okay, so it's just all about where you stay at in the United States. But let me use Dallas, Texas, for example. Even though I'm not from Dallas, but I talked to a lot of Dallas residents that lived here. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. So we still have the lawn care service still within the black people. The construction still kind of with the black people. You know what I'm saying? As of I know now. But I'm hearing a lot of Mexicans are coming to Mississippi. All right. And they are taking some of these, they are doing construction. I'm not saying Mexicans not in Mississippi. I'm not saying Mexicans not doing construction jobs. But we still have black people in Mississippi still have a lock on those industries that I just named, in a way. Okay. But let's just use Dallas for example. At one point in time when I used to come to Dallas when I was younger, I used to see a lot of black lawn care services here, right? A lot of black people used to cut grass, do their thing. And there's maybe still a few black people that still do it. But during that time, black people was getting paid what they was worth, right? But when the flood of Mexicans, now Texas always had Mexicans, but when the flood of more Mexicans came and lowered the prices and outpriced the black people and some white people, I'm strictly talking about black people, they priced a lot of the black people to the point where black people weren't going to cut. At this point, black people probably making what, $40, $50 a yard or something. Then Mexicans came with 6 people and said, hey, give me $30. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you look at it now, this modern era right now, lawn care went up a little bit because the economy and stuff like that. So I'm just comparing to back then and now how it was, the reason why black people not in the lawn care service like they used to in Texas back in the day. Not saying there's no black people, but that's what I want to say. Another thing, a lot of these industries where our children, like my son and my daughter, they couldn't really find jobs. Back when we was coming up, we was working at McDonald's, maybe Chuck E. Cheese, maybe Walmart, maybe Dollar General, Fred's. Where else we worked at? Just places, Foot Locker, places like that. Now, it's nothing but immigrants working at these fast food spots. We used to be the ones working at the fast food spots back when we was coming up. Now you got grown immigrants, illegal immigrants working. The case in point, there's a Popeyes by my house. And I remember when I first moved out here, it was black folks working at Popeyes. It was like 2 Mexicans, but it was just black people running the Popeyes, right? And it was it's like a mixed white, black, but it was like a predominantly mixed area, most what I'm trying to explain. 5 years ago, I noticed there was a change in the taste of Popeyes. I love some chicken. Anybody know me, they know I love a chicken. You know what I'm saying? If I walk past a chicken coop, chicken's going to be clucking and trying to get away from me because that's how much I love chicken. But when I went to Popeyes, the chicken don't taste right. The rice don't taste right. The biscuits be hard. The fries don't be fully cooked. Everything's just trash now at Popeyes by my house. They used to be one of the best Popeyes to eat at in this area where it was just my go-to for my kids. If I don't feel like cooking, I just go to Popeyes, give me like a 10-piece special or something with 2 large sides, and we good. And 4 biscuits, we good. Now, it don't taste right because they got these foreigners cooking our food now. The foreigners don't even know how to prep the chicken right. The chicken don't even taste right. How can you mess up Popeye's chicken? I'm pretty sure they give you a list of things to put in the chicken to make sure the chicken is straight. But anyway, they took that Chick-fil-A jobs. When you go Chick-fil-A, now ain't nothing but grown immigrants, bro, working the afternoon shift. The time where kids get out of school and go to work. You got grown-ass immigrants working there now. Now the kids ain't got no way to get no money. That's why us as parents been spending a lot of money on our children. My mama never spent this much money that I spent on my children. My kids need gas money. My kids need money to go out. They need clothes, even though that's what you're supposed to provide as a parent. But at least with the kids, when they start working, they can get little things that they want. They can do little things. You get what I'm saying? Even though I still do it now, my kids are grown, I still kind of do for them. But anyway, that's here or there. But yeah, that's one of the things that that's good with ICE in deporting some of these people, in my personal opinion. Even service jobs, entry level jobs, you know what I'm saying? Even entry level jobs, some people can't get into certain industries because a lot of these immigrants work in these industries. They work up to be managers and they hire their own people. Nepotism, right? And that's what's happening, man. That's what happened. The second thing is preservation of public resources and services. Mass immigration is said to strain limited resources in housing, education, and healthcare systems, exacerbating inequalities in undeserved black communities. For instance, population growth from immigration can drive up rent and overwhelm schools and medical programs, making it hard to achieve equity in these areas. Supporting ICE deportation efforts is framed as a way to manage these pressures and ensure resources benefit long-established citizens. That's another good topic, man, because, I had to check GBT some of this stuff now. Yeah, I ain't just didn't come up with stuff anyway. But that's another good point, too, with the resources in our community, right? In Dallas, I remember they was having like a housing thing, right? Like, I don't want to say it was dealing with housing vouchers, but it was something else. It was another non-profit, right? So basically they was gonna give out, I'm just gonna use this word, housing vouchers, right? I don't know what it's called, but anyway, they was giving out they had a program where single parents or single mothers can get, and so they can get into these apartments or houses, right? Because they bought a couple houses and a couple apartment buildings for single parents with children, right? And once they got these vouchers, all the parents had to do was pay like $200 a month, which would help anyone that's struggling, that might have lost their job, or their job might not be paying enough. You know what I'm saying? And having children, and I think these was in some nice areas, so they were spread out. But anyway, how about a lot of immigrants was in line for these programs? I'm talking about, they say the line was wrapped around the building. And the foundation of black American women that were trying to get there, they couldn't get in. You had foundational black American women that was there first, like maybe the first 10 in line, and they still didn't get chose. From what I'm hearing, I think it was like 2 foundational black American women got it, and the rest of them was illegal immigrants. They got into those houses. It was a lot of Indians, them Indian people that be coming over here. It was a lot of Mexicans, and they said it was a lot of Asians and a few Africans. That's who got it over the United States citizens. And I ain't mentioning the white people. They say it was white people in line. I don't even think white people got in on it. And how I know this, because I know someone that was what you call that, they was checking people in, because the company rented out space for this event. So that was the people that was checking them in, that was their building. So basically they rented out the space out of their building, and all they were doing was just checking them in, make sure they had no weapons and stuff like that. And I asked them all these questions. I'm like, damn. So resources getting taken out of our neighborhood. Those resources could have been had for our foundational black American sisters. But because of immigration, because the illegals are here, they couldn't get it. And that's sad. Even look at places like Chicago, how the resources, how the mayor gave all these resources to those illegal Venezuelans out there. But you got black Americans sleeping on the street during the wintertime, but y'all want to house these illegal immigrants first. Y'all want to prioritize them. I remember there was a park in Chicago, maybe my Chicago people could tell me this, but it was like a recreational center out there. And that's where our elderly people, our children go. The community go, not just to hang out, but to have, they congregate there. So elderly people like sit around and talk, drink coffee, read books together. Kids might come up there for tutoring. Might be some family reunions there. You know what I'm saying? Just certain stuff that the community can use, just to handle business there, right? These folks, man, was trying to crowbar these immigrants there. They were going to shut it down and house the immigrants there. That's wild. Now, I don't know what's the end of what happened. Did they ever do it? Did they ever shut it down? Did the black people get to have the recreational center, or did they give it to the immigrants? Y'all can let me know in the comments. Please let me know about that. That was sad, yo. New York City, California, those places getting flooded by immigrants. Even Denver, Colorado, one of my favorite cities to go to. Even Denver got flooded by immigrants. From what I'm hearing, man, the property taxes going up, the rent going up. Hell, that's going up on around the country. Even in Dallas, Texas, rent has went up, skyrocketed. I remember when I first moved here, 2 bedroom in a nice area, from like 2000 and what, from 2011 to like at least 16 or 17, you can get you a nice 2 bedroom for damn near between $500 and $800. Now shit, 2 bedroom, if you want in a nice area, you're gonna spend about $1,800. All because of these immigrants here flooding everything, making everything high. And I'm gonna say this too. Somebody told me this. I don't know if this is true. What y'all think about this? Is another thing one of my partners was talking to me about. Like he's into like he do like finances and stuff, right? And he was like, it's a reason why they didn't raise the minimum wage up because reason why they didn't raise the minimum wage because that if they raise the minimum wage, that means they're gonna have to pay the immigrant groups that amount of money. So let's say they raise the minimum wage to what, $15 an hour. Therefore, those low service jobs like housekeeping, whatever these folks be doing, they'll have to pay them folks $15 an hour compared to keeping it $7 an hour, low wages for these type of jobs. So therefore, they don't got to pay. So it's a reason why that we're still stuck in whenever, 1996, whenever the minimum wage didn't go up. Ever since then, because I remember when I was coming up, I remember when they changed. I remember minimum wage was like $4 or something. You know what I'm saying? But I remember when they bumped it up to $7 an hour. But he said they ain't gonna never change it because they got all these legal immigrants that will work for those wages. You know, a lot of these places that the average American citizen would get paid like $17 to $20 something an hour for, they paying these legal immigrants like $7 to $8. I think that's the issue, man. I think that's the issue. And that's one of the things why I believe immigration needs to stop, you know. Let's see. Enhancement of community safety. I said safety. I can read, y'all. Proponents claim ICE helps remove individuals involved in criminal activities such as gang members, drug traffickers, and human traffickers who may have disproportionately have impact upon urban black neighborhoods through violence and crime. I do agree. Is there violence and crimes in certain black neighborhoods across America? Yes. But to tack on these type of people in our neighborhoods that we're not used to, like the violence these people do that come from other countries is totally different than what we do. Now, violence is violence, right? So there's no level of violence, but we got respect for violence, right? You know what I'm saying? We'll pow, shoot you, stab you. A straight bullet might hit an innocent baby, stuff like that. That's the type of shit, nigga shit we owe. Crime of passion. You know what I'm saying? A lady might find her man cheating, or a man might find his woman cheating. They unalive each other. Wild stuff like that happen. But when these immigrant groups come over here, it be a total different level of violence that we don't even think about. They cutting off people's foots, heads, not putting babies in trash bags and swinging the babies around and hitting them against the wall. All types of stuff. Wiping out whole neighborhoods and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Kidnapping elderly people and R-wording them and stuff like that. Then dropping them back off, then R-wording them again. They do stuff like that. Yeah, we got a little respect for violence over here. These people just unhinged. But even with the human trafficking, it's another thing that we've been seeing a high level of human trafficking, especially with our black women and black children, especially our black girls too. That's what another thing I be worried about with my daughter too. That's why I would tell my daughter, man, be mindful when you be going out at night. Don't be drinking. The typical thing us as parents tell our children. But this is a different level of telling because we know what's out here. We know that trafficking is big out here, especially in Dallas, especially in Texas, right? Because there's so many different highways. You can go anywhere. It's going to be hard to trace, you know what I mean? And this human trafficking thing, man, it's getting bad, yo. Like, I know I met so many women that had daughters that was trafficked in the last, 3 to 4 years. And at first, when I first heard, I'm like, damn, how? Like, how did it get trafficked? Like, what happened? And a lot of times, a lot of our young girls, they'll meet some men online, or or they'll meet a man in the streets or something like that, and he'd be an immigrant. These be immigrant cats, like might be a Mexican dude or African dude, and they dress real nice. They talk, they still got that accent, you know what I'm saying, but they still talk and they be very charismatic in a way. But they end up taking the daughters, abusing the daughters, putting fear in the daughters, and putting fear in the young girls to the point where the young girls don't even want to reach out to their parents no more and tell them where they at or how they doing, woo, woo, woo. And now you got these men trafficking these girls all over town. That's why when you see these bus, these sex trafficking ring busts and stuff like that, you see a lot of these girls be kind of young looking, and they always be an immigrant in the vicinity of those young girls. It always be an immigrant somewhere. And when I say immigrant, just a non-American somewhere. They might dress like us, they might even mimic us or look like us, but they don't be us. And a lot of these girls be trafficked all over. And you have girls being trafficked overseas now, from what I'm hearing. It's a big thing now, bro. Y'all remember it was a young lady in Ohio or Detroit or somewhere in Michigan or Ohio. And she went to an interview at Cracker Barrel. And she went to after the interview, she went to the bathroom and she ended up getting kidnapped and thrown on the back of a meat truck, and she was about to head to Kentucky to a McDonald's facility, and ain't no telling what they was gonna do. I don't know if they were gonna eat her or traffic her. It's like sex traffic her. They don't know, but thank God she ended up being saved. You know what I'm saying? Thank God, but stuff like this happen every day, y'all. And I think that's one of the dangers of having immigration, because people all gonna say, what about black on black crime? What about black on black crime? Black people unaliving each other and doing this to each other and hurting each other. Yeah, okay, we got that, but guess what? We get held accountable and we get sent to jail for this shit. What's going on now? The Democratic Party allowing these people to run amok, man, in our communities, and it make us look bad. It put us on the defense because we ain't used to dealing with that type of hostility from people, especially coming in our community. Now it's different when we go to their community or something. They act kind of different with us, but you got people from failed countries come to our communities and look at us like crap. They do. So that's why I support it, man. I ain't gonna lie. I support it, yo. Because even now, man, it's like, I know this don't make sense. Well, it does make sense to me, but even traffic in Dallas is much better, in my opinion, y'all. Now, if you some Dallas people, but even traffic is better compared to 2021, 2018, 2021 to 2023. To me, traffic is better. I can move around better. I ain't seeing a lot of Mexicans when I go to Lowe's and Home Depot now. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's better, man. Money wise, man, I think a lot of us as black Americans, especially our young people, need to get into the construction game, because I think that's going to be a wide open field. Like I say, the people that come over here and do our construction does not do a good job. They do not do a good job. At least with us as black Americans, man, we will make sure we go to school for that. We're going to have people that are going to teach us how to do it correctly. And I think that's a good field for our young people to get into, to get some of this money. Because it's going to be a wide open, y'all. And I hope Trump, man, they do like a 10-year ban, at least a 20-year ban on immigration, man, like having people to come here. So many people to come here a month, you know what I'm saying? Because I believe that we need to, as Americans, we need to fix what's here. We need to train the young people that's coming up right now in these industries where people like in my age bracket and older, they're retiring, they phasing out. Who gonna do some of these jobs? You get what I'm saying? I wish I was doing some of these jobs when I was coming up. Man, I had over 1,000 goddamn jobs. That's another something I gotta tell y'all about. But I wish I would have got a skill. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest regrets I have in my life, that I never picked up a skill. You know what I'm saying? And I suggest all my young men and women to get you a skill, because that's one thing they can't take away from you, is what you can do with your hands. Keep that in mind, young people. Your hands gonna be everything. Because guess what? Sooner or later, like everybody want to get into this computer game, sooner or later, AI gonna be doing everything. AI about to do everything. So all this computer shit, it ain't gonna be as big as it used to be back in the day when I was coming up. It's just not. But one thing they can't replace is these. They can't replace the hands. They might replace driving trucks 24/7. But guess what? They can't replace these building things, putting things together, digging pipes, you know what I'm saying? All that type stuff. So y'all get into that game, man. Don't make the mistake I did. My son, he's into it now. You know what I'm saying? He getting into construction and architecture and things like that now, going to school. My daughter, she's in nursing. You know, she's going to nursing school. So she's going to be a nurse. Even nursing, like, we need to get back in those fields. Doctors, we need doctors, you know. So I even think lawyers going to be AI now. That's why I think lawyers going to be obsolete now. After watching that movie, I forgot this movie I saw where I think it's called Mercy. It's a movie called Mercy that came out not too long ago. I went to the movies and saw, and it was about a police chief or police. Well, he was a police officer or investigator. He was accused of killing his wife. So they put him in this chair, and it was an AI judge. And the AI judge said, "Hey, I'm gonna give you 2 hours to plead with me the reason why you're not guilty." You know, and I think that's what's gonna happen now. Dude didn't have a lawyer or nothing. You know what I mean? So I think that's where things are headed at right now. That's just me personally, but anyway, I didn't mean to talk so long, y'all. But yeah, that's why I think black people should support immigration. I mean, support ICE. I think black people should get into the ICE ICE force too. I think we need to join ICE also. Trust me, if I was young and in shape, like let's say I was like 25 years old, I'd join ICE. I'd be an ICE officer. I ain't bullshit. I would be an ICE officer. Hell, I'm still thinking about it now. I'm still thinking about taking some Ozempic, get out there and lift some weights, do some walking, you know, and get in shape and join ICE. I swear y'all, I've been thinking about that because I think they waived the age limit or something. I might be wrong, but I'm really thinking about that though. But anyway, y'all have a good one, man. I'll be dropping videos this weekend, man. I think I got some lives that I'm gonna post over the weekend. I'll be posting lives over the weekend, so I might be posting some TikTok lives or something, just to throw something out there for the weekend. But if I see any news or anything, I'm gonna make sure I report on it. I'm trying to catch up on all the things that's been going on in Black America, so I'm gonna be looking to see what I missed. I know I missed a few things, you know, but the reason why I'm late talking to about a lot of things, because niggas just been busy and shit. So, but I got time now. But anyway, y'all be safe. I love y'all. Y'all have a great weekend, and I'm gonna see y'all again. Peace out.